50 years. It's been half a century since I lost foot on the ice. I'm back in my hometown, returning to my childhood roots. They say age is a barrier, but I'm here to prove them wrong. Let's see if my legs still remember the rhythm. I am back in the place where I grew up. I saw the ice on the lake and remembered a feeling from 50 years ago. I decided I must to try skate again. But there was a problem. Finding skates in Moldova is not easy, especially European size 45. But I found them, the only pair for sale, and they fit perfectly. It was a sigh from above. It's my new friend. This dog came from the forest. It lives there. How did I even decide to do this? My legs were like jelly. Everything felt different after a 50-year break. It's clumsy and very cautious, but I am skating. And it's clear now, without protection I won't have that youthful courage. When you are in your 60s, falling is much scarier than at 15. Another issue, the technique on hill skates is different from hockey skates. Figure skates put weight on their heels to stay upright and look graceful. Hockey players put more weight on their toes and bend their knees. For them, it's not about beauty, but speed and stability. I chose the simplest fix. I just ground those toy peaks right off, and everything became much easier. I was skating, not cleaning my head from everyday problems. I made some coffee and brought some dog food, but I forgot my knee pads at home. So today I am being careful, not quite as active or fearless. Day 2. The dog is smart, she can be trained. Well, time to go and do some laps. The dog now is taking part of the training too. Without those toy peaks I feel more confident. Plus the ice is quite soft today. This is Moldova, not Finland. We have long thoughts here. You can see I am not as cheerful as I was yesterday. Removing the toy peaks from the skates was the right choice. But to truly boost my courage I need more serious protection. I have to make it from whatever I have around, because there is nothing in the shops. Waiting a week for delivery isn't an option. In 3 days the warm weather will return. Day 3. It was a good night, down to -4. The dog is right here as usual in her searching for food. She found the plastic bag I brought the chicken in. Real food is better than a plastic bag smelling of chicken. And here is my protection. An old mattress and some suspenders I usually wear. Plus a piece of old elastic band. Yes, it's a simple solution, but it doubled my courage. Now you'll see. Day 3. The dog learned the sit command in just 2 days. I am much braver and more active now. My stride is wider and look less like a penguin. Much better. Sometimes even a simple mattress helps you see yourself as you were before and understand that age is not a barrier. Good protection helps you relax and perform better. I am even trying to remember how to glide on one leg. My steps are already quite confident. At this point you start to enjoy what you are doing. Real pleasure. Otherwise, what's the point? We need to live with joy. It's important to keep this ability, to keep moving as long as possible. Age is not a barrier, it's all in your head. The third session was my longest ride. This hip protection, I can highly recommend it. You can fall with much more confidence. On this third training I happily skate across the whole lake. It's working. If you use your head, you can do it without too much stress. Well, one more demonstration lap just to see the progress after 3 sessions. And as you can see, it's obvious. Tomorrow will be a sharp change, up to plus 10 degrees. This is the end of February, northern Moldova. What's next? I need Finland or Sweden to try Nordic ice skating. How will it be? Just hoping for the next miracle. A short warm-up, pet the dog and go, more active and more confident every time. You should say I've adapted to this 50-year pose. If I could continue, the next step would be to work on specific elements. Sharp braking, for example, I used to be very good at it. Full height now, you can see I am much more confident. I came back 5 or 6 times before leaving. I came to see my furry friend and brought some food. If I could make skating a part of my regular training, that would be great. I had a similar experience. I lived in Dahab, Egypt, on the Red Sea for 4 years. It's warm almost the year around and there is almost always enough wind for windsurfing. Windsurfing requires strong wind and it's good when wind blows almost every day. Reaching to 25 miles per hour was pretty common. It was being able to get out on the water regularly and make windsurfing part of my everyday life. There is something really special about having a routine like that. But for my current condition I can only do rollerblading systematically. By the way, I first tried rollerblades when I was about 50. And the next story will be about how I returned to rollerblades after a long enough pause. I am also planning to learn wingfoiling and I am confident I can do it. My goal is to spend some time in Dahab, learn to wingfoil and rediscover windsurfing after more than 15 years away from it. I am curious to find out what it's like to return to a sport I loved and to learn a new one at this stage of my life. And by the way, this is my video, it's me, 15 years ago. If everything goes according to plan, you'll be able to follow the entire adventure on this channel. Well, one final tour of the lake, just like when I was 13. How long has it been? Can you imagine? Muscle memory doesn't go anywhere. You can always come back and remember what made you happy as a child. Years are like spring water. They pass so quickly. But there are options, they are available. The main thing is not to stop. The older we get, the more expensive these sports become. So, as we age, let's move faster and make it more interesting. And hey, don't forget about the mattresses. Such a simple thing, but it gives so much real courage. One person who has always inspired me is George Bernard Shaw. Here he is.
Age is not a barrier.
In his 80s, heading into the ocean with a board. Think about that for a moment. One of the greatest minds of his generation didn't spend his old age sitting in an armchair. He chose the sea, the waves, and the joy of learning and moving. I don't know exactly what he felt out there, but I think it's warm, asking why someone so intelligent made that choice. Maybe he understood something important about staying alive, not just physically, but mentally as well. If you agree that age is mostly what you are ready to agree on, like, support and tell your story of how age is not a barrier. Funny thing, people say I look a bit like Bernard Shaw, white beard, older face. Maybe that's why his story stays with me.
We don't stop playing because we grow old. We grow old because we stop playing.